r/ask Reddit. What's is completely normal but you find gross? Children with food on their face and snot. Ugh, people post pictures of them with food on their face and everyone thinks it's so cute. But I want a bath. And the snot. I worked at a sample booth and they'd come up with a face full of snot and grab samples. Always grossed me out. The Ben & Jerry's food truck was at Boston Common during the summer for a Shakespeare play in the Common. Some kid took a spoon, put it in his mouth. Then his mom took it and put it back in the clean spoon holder. The workers didn't see. So I told them after the kid and mom left. He looked so defeated, like it had already happened that day. Same but with saliva too. Those cute pictures of babies drooling make me gag. Just people's breath being in the same vicinity as my face. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad breath, I absolutely hate catching any whiff of anyone else's breath. Once I woke up to find that I had been sleeping with my mouth open near my partner's mouth, who was also sleeping with his mouth open. My mouth tasted like his morning breath and I very nearly vomited. I sucked in the air of a lady that I liked once when she was bent over next to me getting something out of the cupboard. It was hot as ruckus. I had to leave the room. Hot as ruckus. When someone else washes my dishes for me and I drink from a clean glass and it smells of rotting food and I look at my sponge and it's covered in food because someone thought that smearing food around my dishes with a sponge somehow made them clean, you're all fired. I never want to see you again. That's not normal. At least I hope not. A lot of people are lazy, unhygienic ducks and don't care. For example, my sister wouldn't wash the underside of the dishes and they would be greasy and oily as duck. That's how my mother washes dishes, and then gets mad at me for cleaning my dishes again because some ducking mashed potato is left stuck on the fork. Our drain is always clogged with food rests and it's ducking disgusting. Perhaps not gross, but I am repulsed by holding chalk and writing on a chalkboard. The touch, the feel, the sound, everything. Same. Feels just terrible and dry. I, too, prefer moisture. You eventually get used to it, but then when you do, your shitty university goes and replaced all of the blackboards with whiteboards but neglect to actually replace all of the chalk with whiteboards markers, so you have nothing to write with when all of your shitty students show up, so you just have to pantomime the notes that would normally accompany a physics lecture, and apparently it's the most hilarious thing that your students have ever seen and they end up laughing at you for 45 minutes all while you feel ducking dumb as hell. Not that that happened to me or anything. Well, even though I do enjoy it, it's pretty ducking disgusting that we put our mouths on each other's genitals. Yup, but most of us still won't eat the end bit of a banana. That little black bit that's pure poison. Same for the brown parts of avocados. Only perfect things go in my perfect mouth. But I don't eat anyone's potato salad, she said at the party just hours before she was fishing her tongue around inside my rectum like the cure for cancer was in there. How do I delete someone else's comment? Talking in a public bathroom. I don't want to hear about your Disney vacation when I got my dong in my hand. Steve. At least it wasn't your dong in his hand while hearing about Disney. That's the worst. True. If he's got my dong in his hand, I want to hear other things. The sound of people chewing. The sound of animals licking themselves. Especially because they do it as loud as possible. Like you're just chilling at night and all of a sudden hear slop 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 slop, and it gives you pause because there's no way a cat of all things should be able to make that noise. Or the other ducking cat who makes this awful half chewing half sucking noise like she's trying to rip chunks of hair out of her skin. The damn dog's the quietest out of all of them for once. I love my mother to pieces, but I cannot stand the sound of when she eats. It just grates on me. She doesn't even eat loudly, but it's the way it slaps in her mouth. Ugh. Yep, love my mother, but the sound of her drinking water always bothered me. Like she's taking the largest gulps that she can muster. Or that this is the first cup of water she's had after being in the Sahara for a week. Warm toilet seats. Something about that has always been disgusting to me. I hate cold toilet seats also. I'm impossible. Last time I visited Urban Dictionary, the word of the day was ghost cheeks, defined as that feeling of a warm toilet seat that someone else's butt has heated up for you. The ghost of butts past. People's knees. Agreed. I like magnets and little green ghouls though. We're all a bunch of squishy, watery meat sacks. We got clicky bits in our flapping meat faces making meaty noises at each other. Our insides are a veritable ecosystem of weird little critters eating us and shitting us back out for us to shit ourselves out. We dump hair and skin flakes and oils full of nasty gunk everywhere we go. Our skin is home to mites and germs and whatever nasty crap just happens to land on us. Possibly from other flappy gummed meat sacks meeting around town. I can't wait to be a robot. The clicky bits in our flapping meat faces grind up food before sent down a membrane tube into our acid pit. Though I can't really comprehend the hilariousness of it unless I'm tripping on acid. The brain is too effective at normalizing shit, else our minds would be blown every second of the day. Childbirth. Babies. Humans. Dog walkers put the fesses in little plastic bags, which I support 100%. But what I can't figure out is why I occasionally see the full bags sitting on the ground. This is particularly common on a local hiking trail through the woods near my home. Plastic baggies scattered along the trail, each filled with dog fesses. After going to all that trouble to scoop the turd into the bag, why not finish the job and dispose of the bag in a trash can? If you're taking a long walk and going to be circling back or taking the same route home, this makes sense. Better to leave it to pick up later rather than carry it your entire walk. If people are doing this and leaving them forever, it makes no sense. But if you will pass that spot again, it makes plenty of sense. I used to do that until I ducked up several times in a row and missed picking them up on the way back. And now I just clip it to the dog's harnesses and make them deal with their own crap. When my dentist spits in my mouth, I prefer the hygienist do it, especially when she has a firm grip on my balls as well. They teach that method at Dental Hygienist University to ensure your mouth is open wide enough. What? It sounds weird, and it feels wrong, but like my dentist told me, they have to do it. If he doesn't spit in my mouth, my breasts won't be ready for the massage session, which he has to do to distract me from my teeth. Exactly, you simply cannot overestimate the importance of good oral hygiene, coupled with a vigorous breast massage. Probably will get downvoted to hell, but pregnant bellies have always creeped me out. Something about how the skin stretches and it goes all big. Ever since I was a kid and my cousin got pregnant, the first time I'd seen this, and as a girl I was expected to be interested and want to touch it. No thank you mom, I'm good to not look near that ever again, thank you. Like, you have a person living inside you. So creepy. One of my coworkers was 9 months pregnant and wearing a thin, very tight t-shirt, and all of a sudden I could see a foot press up against her belly. I nearly vomited. I'm a woman and I'm supposed to think that's magical and stuff. But you just had a baby in December. That shit's not magical at all. 0/10. Shower drain. You. When it's backed up with hair. Gag. Childbirth. We're all here because of it, and it's currently my day job to catch a baby or two per day, but goddamn is it like watching a woman's genitals go through Vietnam each time. Every time, they asked me if I wanted a mirror to watch the action. Duck no. I'm pregnant and I do have a morbid curiosity about it, but every woman who has watched is like, no, trust me, you don't want to see. One woman said she snuck a peek in the mirror after and it looked like the Joker's smile before it healed. I think the human body as a whole is pretty disgusting. Every person has stanky poop squishing through their gut nearly all hours of the day. Feet. I hate looking at naked feet. Feet in sandals. They just gross me out. I hate when friends come over, sit on the couch and rub their feet while they are just chilling out. You're not going to wash your hands after that. You're going to go dive your hand into that bowl of chips I left out for everyone. Duck off. My old friend had really nasty feet, like huge feet, white as snow with curly, scraggly black hair everywhere and very weird lumps all over the place. Whenever we'd hang out, he would immediately take off his shoes and socks, then rub his feet together on my couch the entire night, like he was scheming with his feet. That was mesmerizing, but disgusting. Smoking. Most gorgeous woman on earth can puff a cigarette and I'm instantly turned off. Even just the sight of a cigarette in someone's hand grosses me out. Can't help it. Walking into someone's home that reeks of cigarette smoke is absolutely disgusting. Children. You are like the anti-pedophile. My husband calls himself a pedophobe. I have this unshakable impression that all children at all times have sticky or damp hands. I don't know why. I don't hate kids or anything, but I do think they are gross. Ah yes, the jam hands. Kids age 0-6.5 have approximately an 87% chance of jammy hands. It's a fact probably. And then if you're their caretaker and they're tired of their sticky, jammy hands, they'll fake you out by giving you a hug. You think they're being sweet, but in fact you are their napkin and there is no escape. I do sincerely love children, but you're absolutely right about them jam hands. Baby food, especially watching actual babies eat it. There is something about the sloppy mushy crap, the way it smells, seeing it mixed with saliva, gooped all over a baby's face, that just makes me feel nauseous. I can tolerate it sitting benignly in a pot, but as soon as it gets sloppy, nope, pass. No thanks. I think something about it subconsciously reminds me of vomit. Salad when it's covered in thick, creamy salad dressings so much that it's not recognizable as salad anymore. Ugh, makes me nauseous even thinking about it. I think I have quite the aversion to mayonnaise. Loose hair, as in hair that isn't attached to someone's head. Feeling it on me or seeing it just lying around, especially in clumps or anything like that, makes me want to puke. Sitting in a hot tub with strangers. You don't know them. You don't know the last time they had a shower, and now here they are, suddenly sharing their bodily fluids and dirt with you in what is essentially an oversized petri dish. In Japan you do. They wash themselves for about half an hour before they enter the onsen, hot baths. Ever since the first time I lived with a girl roommate, I've learned that women are absolutely disgusting. Honestly, it nearly turned me gay. Not quite though. Because boobs. Have a wife and 3 daughters. Quadruple confirmation. The sound of other people clipping their nails, especially when you're at your office cube focused on a project and the clicking starts some random amount of cubes away. They always take like 5 times as necessary to get through the chore. It stopped. Click. Also potlucks. I don't trust most people's cleanliness. I like to have blind faith in actual restaurant workers since they have to get a food handler's card. But for random folks that I see regularly not wash their hands after using the company restrooms or have disgusting desks, no, I don't want to participate in the potluck, thanks. Pennies. They are the bastard of coins. Most are discolored, sticky and disgusting. Barf. I thought you said penises at first and got confused as duck. Spitting out phlegm. I was ill once and felt like I needed to get rid of my phlegm. So I went to the bathroom, trying to throw this disgusting thing up, and it was so thick. I was so fascinated, in a disgusted way, by it. It just wouldn't go down the drain even when I ran water over it. I realized later on I had just spit out a green olive I had just eaten. People who let their dogs lick their face. People blowing their nose into a tissue. I just hate the noise and it grosses me out so much. I, actually, find it more gross to sniffle for hours opposed to just blowing it out and getting it over with, but to each their own. Having kids pregnancy. Now, I'm not saying all kids are snotty little loud things, and I'm not saying pregnant women are ugly or gross or anything like that. I'm saying there's a weird body horror / existential thing about having kids. Like, existentially you just create a person out of nothing. A person with a mind and opinions and a life. And it just suddenly exists out of nowhere. I find that freaky, and pregnancy is all parasitic, and there's hormones that duck with you, and bits of you tear, and you're sick for months. And also society pushes people to reproduce and women get a lot of shit if they don't have kids. It freaks me out how weird and tribal people can be to other people if they don't take part. When people leave their balled up napkins or straw paper on the table, it's trash and it does not belong near my food. Chewing gum in general, but when people stick their gum on their plate while eating, I completely lose my appetite. A ton of tiny holes close to each other. I find it fascinating how often I see on Reddit that if you're not 100% amused by a fart or burp, you're immature or a prude. Yes, farts happen, and burps happen, and they're a natural part of life. but I don't feel bad for thinking they're gross. I'm not gonna be mean about it, people did gross things and that's okay. It's forgivable, but I also don't find them funny, and I've seen a bunch of people on Reddit who would label me an uptight a-hole about it. Like, I burp and say excuse me and don't expect my partner to kiss my gross burp breath. It seems like basic courtesy. The sound of kissing. I cannot stand to hear it or see it in person or in movies. Whatever. Please don't. Go make out in your car or at home. Whenever wind and brass musicians dump their spit all over the floor. Bar soap. Bar soap is ducking gross, slimy, and, in my mind, covered in other people's germs. Keep it away from me. Ugh. It makes my stomach turn just writing the word. Really wet sneezes. I never knew this about myself until being friends with someone who literally sprays like a fountain every time he sneezes. Shopping cart handlebars. Yeah, sure. The stores have cart wipes now, but you couldn't burn the gross off those things. Rat tails. I just can't stand them. Same with possums. I have no clue why though. For a second there I thought you were talking about the rat tail hairstyle circa 1993, but let's be real, that's equally vile. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.